Hey guys, sup, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is. I'm ready for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council, and this is going to be a true cut discussion video. And when I say that, I'm just going to take a minute before we go fully into what coffee time is, which is discussion video. When I say discussion video, please make sure to comment about, the topic, which is the ban list. And then if you see something, like you agree with someone, comment on that comment, and I'm going to be doing the same, so we can actually have a discussion pool, which will create the discussion video itself, besides me just giving you this. Finally, there will be no edits, no hands, no cards in front of everything. It's pretty much going to be a one-shot, straight through, two-part video. And when I say two-part, it's actually going to be put together, so I don't want you thinking oh, fuck this, I'm leaving the video. I just need to spend a minute to cover all that basis. With that said, I'm putting my flame shield on and we're doing this shit. I hate the ban list season because it is a great thing with tons of ideas, but everyone gets really mad really quickly, and I don't understand that much. I mean, I get you guys are passionate, but everyone needs to take a chill pill because we can't control what Konami does. Now, the one big thing that I want to talk about before we go down the list, and then I give my kind of prediction thing, so this way it gets covered for everything, is I think this is going to be the ban list that Japan and America, and this is going to be the only reason we look at the Japanese list when we do look at the Japanese list in the coming days, is because when it comes to Worlds, how the hell are we going to deal with two separate lists and have the preparation time for one ban list? It's going to be completely unrealistic to do that. You have Japanese players coming overseas to play, I believe it's Las Vegas this year. I may be wrong. It could have been last year. Wherever it is, but to have that basis, it needs to be a common ground. And I'm not saying that we're going to get too honest and too dark arm. The Japanese list can easily show tomorrow that has changed. Who knows? Everything's up in the air, but it's a strong possibility that something like that could happen, or something extremely close. And there are pros and there are cons with either way the list is going to go down. Either way. But I just want to quickly go over what defines and what everyone's thinking that either will get hit or come back. And this is from the interwebs. This is Pojo, Duelist Grounds, YouTube. I've taken the time to look at everything I possibly could over the past, 24 hours. Besides spending my Father's Day sleeping and going to the cemetery and putting down flowers for my father, my grandfather. That's how I put it. But besides that, I wanted to go over everything and have this fully prepared for each and every one of you. So, here we go. Here's the list of what all the hot topics are when it comes to this. Soul Charge, Fire and Ice Hand, Mermelds adds an entire theme, Bujin, Sylvans, Trap Tricks, I believe the Hat deck. I want to just say the Hat deck. Artifacts. Heavy Storm is a big, huge one that we always talk about, and we will get to it. The upcoming Shadows are going to play a very important role into this new ban list. And if you don't believe me, well, we're gonna go into that in a sec. Geargia, Dragon Rulers, Heroes, Light Swarm, Karakuri, Madolche, Concealer Pallades, and Tenki. These are the big things. I had my head turned so if the audio sounds a little bit off. These are the big things. If there's anything left out, leave it immediately in the comments. Immediately. Now, one thing I do want to address is simple. Is Soul Charge. Let's start with Soul Charge. It's going to be a huge freaking video. Soul Charge, is it healthy for the game? This is what we fully have to look at every single card. Is Soul Charge healthy for the game state? No, I'm sorry. I'm not saying it's broken, but it's not healthy at 3. There's no way in hell it's healthy at 3 because it allows you to overcommit. Even at 1, it's kind of risky. I'm not going to say my placement until the second part of the video. Hands are the same kind of thing. Are they fully healthy? And hands are just the evolution of floaters. So either we have to learn how to deal with them, or Konami has to hit them, or just something. But we don't see that in the OCG line. OCG line, you don't see hand decked everywhere. TCG, it's hands, 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 hands. And I know a lot of you are going to probably just flame me for this. I think a big part of that is the lack of Heavy Storm, because you don't play aggro, you play a little more defensively in a kind of slower base format, and if you have Heavy Storm, then the hands lose a little bit of power. And it sounds kind of nuts to say that, but it's true. If you really think about it, I have 3 monsters, I Heavy Storm, and first one attacks, you fire hand one of them, get your ice hand, but there's no back row, so you can't destroy back row to get to the next one. So that instantly stops that there, but easy counter is Abyss Dweller. So I'm kind of in the middle on that, but I'll let you guys sound off. Mermails have always been a great deck. They're always probably going to end up being like Infernities, regardless if they get more hits or not. I'm not saying they should. I'm just saying this is what you guys are talking about. Bujin, I don't think Konami's going to just straight out do it. Honestly, if they do, I think it's going to be Tenki. Because either Tenki or Crane. And I'm just going to give my quick thoughts on that real quick. But honestly, I think Bujin are still a little bit safe. Sylvans are a wild one, because of the fact that they haven't really had competitive topping presence since, well, just this weekend at the ARG event, Jeff Jones topped with Sylvans, and that was actually surprising. It's a little bit different of a build, but those Rose Archers. Should listen to Alex on that. Things are freaking ridiculous. But it's one of those wild cards that you don't know where it's going to end up on the list. Traptrick Artifact hands are just, they're pretty much the equivalent of Teledad was, and what I like to see is how Shadows would fare against them, but at the same time, I think Shadows would probably play out of it, because Midrash can't be targeted by the hand's effect, and that kind of sucks for the hands, creating an instant bad matchup. Traptrick's Nightmare Hole ain't going to do shit against it. Void Trap Hole is a great option against it, though. Haha, Ryu was right on Tech Tuesday, like always. The big one I want to talk about is Heavy Storm. And I know a lot of you just hate it. You hate it, but here's the thing. You could still play your back row with Starlight Road, and that gives you access to Stardust, and Stardust gives you access to having a better matchup across the board against certain things, so. But I'm not saying Heavy Storm's good for the game. But we're at the point where Heavy Storm should come back. At least in my opinion. I'm just going to touch upon this real quick. It should come back for the one reason, and I know a lot of you are going to hate me for this. We all have that constant 5-5-5-5-5 back row, and just Heavy Storm allows for a little bit of balance. And now, if someone makes the argument that it hurts pendulums, I'm going to laugh. I'm sorry. I'm finally going to touch upon why I laugh at that theory. MST hurts them more, which is kind of like, what the hell status, Ryu? Because they only need to set up once to really just spam it. Now, they have to reset the board with Heavy Storm, you know, if you Heavy Storm them. Chain MST, when they play the second one, they can't go into it. So, that hurts them more than, say, Heavy Storm would, because Heavy Storm just makes them reset up, and as time goes on, I think we're going to get stronger and stronger pendulums that won't carry the, oh look, I can't be destroyed, you know, they'll carry that I can't be destroyed by other spell cards to balance that out, to get us to play it. But again, we don't know, you know, we only know up to next challengers, so that's something we're going to have to take into this video. Is it good to bring back now? Yes. Reason why? Look at everything that's topping besides Sylvans, it's all back row heavy. And I know for a fact Konami does not like, they like deck diversity, they like when decks are constantly topping, but this is going to be the one, like I said before, either OCG is going to lose it, and it will stay banned in TCG, or TCG will gain it just so we can have a closer list together, and then stuff like Torrential Tribute, and D-Prison, and possibly even Mirror Force can make their ways back up. Compulse. I know how many of you love Compulse, can come back. I don't agree with Compulse though, I hate that card. I'm sorry. I hate going against it. But there's like so many possibilities on this ban list. It's mind blowing that, and I'm gonna get hated again, and I'm not afraid to say these following words. No one can really predict what the hell Konami's gonna do from either TCG side or OCG side, because this is gonna be the one that basically sets in motion for the next year. Now, some of you are going, but Ryu, it's not going to set for an entire year. It's only going to be for a few months. What you're not understanding is the foundation of the next couple formats, and that's something to look at. Now, we can have one list just for Worlds, we get back together, but then they're going to have to show it. That's the thing. And then people are going to have to prepare for it. And then Konami's going to, have people dropping out of the tournament that could, go in. And it's just a lot of hassle, and I think it makes more sense for, even if it's just this one list, to have them reconjoin, kind of like the rings on your keys, just reconjoin. I'm not saying Cyberstein come back. If Cyberstein did come back, I would laugh every time someone do it, because then you just flip up Ceasefire. I'm joking when I say that, though, okay? I know Ceasefire is only at 1. No, you play Effect Builder or Breakthrough Skill. Regardless of the list, Breakthrough Skill is still going to be a thing. Majesty's Fiend is seeing a price increase because of the preparation for this ban list, because right after this ban list, we go straight into either partly Lightsworn format for almost half the format, and then go straight to Shaddolls and Satella Knights. And I think a lot of people are underestimating Satella Knights, honestly. I think that given the TCG's mindset, I think they could outdo Shaddolls and be a real freaking threat, even on the first set. And I know that's pretty ballsy for me to say, but I'm being completely honest, because I see the comments, and I go on all different sorts of, Yu-Gi tubers that will post out discussion videos on this, and one of the biggest ones that we do have to mention, obviously, is like Asian Ice's discussion video. And the amount of people talking about how Shaddolls will be easily, dealt with, it just, I want to agree, but at the same time, we could be prepared a thousandfold over. My Skype was going off because, Greg, if you're watching this, do not call when I'm filming, sir. Do not call. Post it on Facebook so people don't call me. But one of the things with Shaddolls is, yeah, they could end up being like the next Dark Worlds. They could be super overhyped. But here's the thing. I think they're stronger than Dark Worlds and are more like heroes. And again, we don't know what the hell is coming off the freaking ban list, so we don't know what the hell is side. And it's like, you can only side what you're planning now, so even to make a guide to your side video, it's confusing. And I'm not saying people are underestimating Shaddolls or overestimating. I think it's a little bit in the middle. We don't know what the hell they're going to do in the TCG, because remember, regardless of what happens, the TCG and OCG have forever been changed, mindset-wise at least. They have forever been changed. And a lot of people seem to forget that. But that is something that's completely done. Gear have been past their time. I'm sorry if you're a Gear player. When you take 9 of the top freaking 32, 9 of the top 32, that in hands, I think Konami is just going to say, you know what, we're done with these decks. They gotta go. And that's why I was talking about Heavy Storm before. I want to touch upon it again, is because of that back row, Gear is a much slower paced deck. If Heavy Storm's there, it's harder for them to build the field presence. Much harder for them. Because that constant, I gotta get on the board. Madolche. These are a wild card, again, like Sylvans, because given that they did have a presence at the YCS and at other tournaments and at regionals and at whatever, here's the big problem with them. They were not as dominant as everyone was presuming they would be, aka like Shaddolls everyone's presuming to be. And I'm not going to sit here and talk about Shaddolls any longer. I'm pointing that out. That's the last mention of them. But I think what Konami will end up doing, if they even touch them, will probably be the one key card is Hoot Cake. Not Aunt Jelly, is Hoot Cake. Because Hoot Cake's the one that sets up the whole Aunt Jelly thing. But honestly, I could live without Madolche's and Sylvans getting hit. I really could. I don't know about you guys, but I really could. I could deal with that. Because I know how to combat those decks. It's not too hard. Just, they have wild OTKs. You just gotta be prepared for it. Looking at this list, Lightsworn. I don't think Lightsworn are going to be touched at all, because Konami knows that, okay, let's look at when the ban list is dropping. The ban list is dropping July 13th. Most likely, keyword here, most likely we will know it in about 2 weeks. Right now we're about a month away from, well, under a month away. We're finally under the month away, hence why this video is coming out, for it to come out. I doubt Konami's just going to say, you know what, fuck Lightsworn, we don't care about making that printing money. And it's the same thing with Bujin. It's like, you can argue they're being reprinted in a 230 card set, but they're still being reprinted. And the other big thing I do want to mention is I think we may possibly see certain tuners making a return just to promote Legendary Collection 5. I'm not sure the list after the July list. I want to say November. So if we see anything like Trishulia or Dark Strike Fighter make a return, that's where our reprints are going to end up. I'm just being honest. I'm covering all the bases here. I know how many of you hate Trishulia or hate Dark Strike Fighter, and I'm not going to use the argument there's a counter to a counter to a counter. Is it best for the game? Hell no. Is it best for Konami's wallet? Probably. That's pretty much the mindset you have to look at it from. You can't just look at it from one aspect, you have to look at it from both. And that's the same thing I'm going to touch upon again with Soul Charge for the last time, is it's that wild card you don't know where the hell it's going to end up. And I'm not going to say if Soul Charge got limited or banned that we're going to see Inferni Barrier come back. I would love it, but I doubt it. But there's a lot of possibilities to happen, a lot of things not to happen. Now that we've covered the majority of that, I'm just going to go over a quick few things that where I'd like to see. One of the biggest things I always mention is Heavy Storm coming back. Oh, there is one thing we didn't touch upon. I'm sorry, we're going to have to rewind and just and go back. Dragon Rulers. I know a lot of you either think they're balanced or love them or just whatever. I'm cool with that. I respect your thing about it. But here's the thing, when a deck constantly tops, regardless, constantly tops, Konami's going to start taking notice and go, you know what, we have to hit this and just be done with it. Otherwise, it's going to, people are not going to move away from it. But at the same time, I'm just going to mention at the same time, we pretty much know we're getting a Dragosack reprint in the tins, but it doesn't mean that it would hurt the sales because there's everything else in the tin. So it can go either way. I just want to mention that. I do think, to an extent, Konami knows, alright, if we leave this here and we leave that there, this is going to fuck up the game. So, certain things. The other thing I didn't mention is artifacts. I didn't go fully in depth yet. I think the one thing that artifacts will get hit, I'm not going to say the whole deck, I'm going to say Sanction to 1. I think that's the one thing Konami will say, you know what, fuck it, we'll hit this one trap card. We already sold Primal Origins, we've had plenty of time, we've had like month and a half, 2 months. People still buy it for Sylvans if we leave them on the list. They'll still buy it for Madolches if we leave them alone. I think that's the kind of aspect will come out of this. And rank up the 7th one is, I guess by their logic would. Majesty's Fiend would. I think these are things to take into consideration. But, I don't know. It's one of those things that it's kind of hard. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, I think it's not going to get hit because it's a popular decision to say that. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm going to be straight out honest and say, I think they're going to hit Sanction. It makes the most sense. If they don't hit Sanction, they hit Ignitation, which is the spell card. But I honestly see the track card getting hit first, if anything, because then you can still play artifacts, but you can't really splash them. So that takes out a lot of crap from the game, I guess you want to put it, to me. It's the same thing with the hands. If they go by that logic, then the hands probably would get hit too. And I'm not saying they should get hit, just keyword, I'm going by Konami logic right now. If Sanction went to 1, then I can easily see the hands going down to 1 each or 2 each, just something to negate it off. But then again, if you put it at 2, it's not really going to do shit, so Konami's going to have to put it at 1 if they do it. That's to have an impact, so don't get mad at me. I'm just being straightforward here. Alright, final part of the video, let's do this. I had to charge up the camera. These are going to be more my personal choices, how I foresee the game, so this way I can help you guys, I guess get into the mindset of it, because that's what this is, it's a full-on discussion video. So it's not just, oh, this is what I think should happen. It's, here's the first part of the overview and everything that Konami may do, and everything you guys are talking about, and then this is what basically I'm going to talk about. I think what Konami needs to start doing fully is completely rid itself of the power creep. It's not that hard. All you have to do is stop making like crazy archetypes super powerful. Just make them all pretty much across the board balance and create diversity. It's not that hard. Now, given that there will always be power creep, that's just something we're gonna have to deal with. So what does Ryu really want to see? The big one I just mentioned, I think, is Heavy Storm, and a lot of that is it's not just personal. It's more how I foresee the game is traps are all over the place. The set 5 is all over the place, and it's hard to really, if you're going, okay, you're going second, and you're trying to make a basic move. A basic move is I summon and attack your monster. That is basic to me. Can't use MST because of artifacts. And even if Heavy Storm did come back tomorrow and people still splashing artifacts because of it, you're gonna get swamped by artifacts. So, kind of that there. That's just my logic behind it. I feel especially when Konami's promoting something like Light Sword and Heavy Storm usually will make its way back. It wouldn't be the first time it makes its way back. Everything kind of cycles in and out to create a game state, either to promote money or to help it. And I know some of you may argue, but Shadows, Ryu, they're not just promoting Shadows, they're promoting heroes. They're promoting Satella Knights, they're promoting Yin Zing, and Yin Zing can't really fully function without Heavy Storm, in my opinion. And I feel it's time for it to come back. It's been almost a year, and I think it's fully time for it to fully come back. I would love, absolutely love, just to freaking watch, like, just to, honestly, to watch the Dragon Rulers be banned. Because what people don't understand is they're willing to hit, like, you guys, when you make predictions. And I don't want to say, like, you guys, I'm just saying the general people will say, well, just hit Dragon Shrine or hit Curry Bandit. How many times do you have to hit XXXXX card when you could just hit the one card and be completely done? And then all those cards that you mentioned could stay where they are and create deck diversity, which is better for Konami. So there's that logic there that I see with it. Curry Bandit is something I don't think is going to get hit. I don't feel it should get hit. I think someone's going to mention it. I'm just going to touch upon it. I have no basic bias with it. I don't like the card. I don't play the card. I play it very rarely often. Soul Charge is something I do hope goes down to at least one, because it is let's be honest here, it's a mass special summoning and allows you just to overcommit to the board. You only really ever need to draw the one and then win the game. It's not that hard. Like, it just literally allows you to stage a comeback, or just go into an Exciton night and rip your opponent's, field off. Sword Charge plus Trapstone. I feel it's like time for Geargias just to go away. Don't take it the wrong way. Just completely evade the whole game. Just go away. Everything that's meta right now can just go away except for Sylvans and Medolce. I don't play either deck. Let me just point that out. I really don't. I'm not biased towards meta. I really could care less when I say these things. It's just more what I feel should happen. Pallades will probably end up going to 1. That's something I feel is going to happen. It's just in my bones. Like, I can't control the feelings. Tenki I feel is going to get hit, and possibly Dragon Rulers is completely neutered fully. Not done that way. I'm just trying to make sure I don't leave anything out. I'm looking at the list right now of just everything I wrote down for each and every one of you. Honestly, when it comes to this format, I didn't really have any issues playing throughout it. I could play without Heavy, I could play with Heavy. It's not really a big deal, but Heavy is my one thing, my one vice in this game that I wish would come back. And that's going to be the last time I talk about it. But what I do want to talk about is the Dragon Rulers. I know a lot of you who watch the channel love Dragon Rulers. You've made that pretty damn clear. Besides, we're not just all confused here, we're just talking in general. The reason I feel they still should get hit, besides the 20 cards, is Lightsworn and Dragon Ruler. It's going to be such a ridiculous powerful deck. I know some of you may not agree with that. It does lack defense, but it makes up for it in just pure freaking strength. And it's the same theory behind Soul Charge, where you could just commit to the board, make giant monsters that your opponent can't get over, and win the game. And I know some of you will, JD to 1! I don't think Konami's going to do it. I think if JD does get hit, it'll go to 2, honestly. At most. I think that pretty much wraps up everything that I had to say throughout this video. I'm just going to quickly mention, Deep Dark Trap Hole. I think that's a card. Trying to pull it up on my computer. I don't have my gaming mouse in, so it's kind of hard to use my left hand for this. Because my right hand is clearly not close enough to the computer because the computer's on the left side. Deep Dark Trap Hole is the one thing I'm going to advise you pick up to go against Shed Dolls. Google it. It is an amazing card. Royal Command, I just want to mention this real quick because someone was asking me to go over it. I'm going to have a separate video for this. I just want to mention it real quick. Royal Command and Mistake. Those are my big three for pickups for the format, like in preparation, I guess. Abyss Dweller is always going to be a thing. Super Poly is going to suck that damn thing up. And if you don't believe me, like, well, okay, it could if they ran heroes with it, but Ryu's kind of sleepy and losing a lot of logic. Vanity's Emptiness and Noble Mana Crossout also could pick up. So those 5 cards. Noble Mana Crossout, Vanity's Emptiness, Royal Command. Royal Command you can get as common. Deep Dark Trap Hole, and I forgot the last one. I think I said everything. It's all good. I hope you guys truly enjoyed the video, and I do hope you take the time to comment and get part of that discussion pool. Maybe we can keep it alive, kind of like a forum thread for a good 2 weeks until we see the full ban list. I enjoy making these. I'm glad if you did stick around for the full 27 minutes or 30 that's gonna probably end up being. And if you guys are new to the channel and you think I'm worthy, well, the channel's worthy of you being subscribed, then make sure to hit that subscribe button. That's all you really ask. And just stay tuned for more craziness and get part of the discussion. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. We're all gonna have different views. We may hate each other at the end of the day for a little while, but it's all good. I love you all anyway. Thank you guys for the continued support, and I'll catch you next video. I'm ready for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit like. If you want to share it and create a giant forum, then please do so. Share it to your Facebook, to Twitter, to wherever you prefer. Make sure to hit that comment section, and I'll catch you next one. I'm gonna go render this. Bye. Peace.